E aí, quaisquer perguntas, qualquer coisa depois, a gente pode fazer a tradução. Não evitem de fazer perguntas por causa disso, tá bom? So today we're going to have Professor Leroy Lowe from the Halifax Institute here with us. Dr. Lowe, he's an autodidact and a polymath who began his career as an aerospace engineer in the Air Force, which is not every day that we have someone who's an aerospace engineer give us a talk. But he later became an expert in international business, and he self-studied cancer biology and affective neuroscience in his spare time. His body of published research gave him a PhD by publication in 2015, and over the past decade, he has led over 550 scientists in 31 countries and projects that resulted in the low-dose theory of carcinogenesis and the broad-spectrum approach to cancer therapy. Plus the seminal model of the human affectome, which is what he's going to tell us about today. The human affectome has the intention of harmonizing research in the field of affective neuroscience. Currently, Professor Lowe is the president of Neuroqualia, an NGO that's focused on the human affectome, and he's also the executive director of the Halifax Institute for Global Interdisciplinary Collaboration, where he leads an initiative to create a global research action network for development called GRAND, which is a worldwide network of research institutions that will be able to rapidly form interdisciplinary teams to address complex and/or large-scale challenges related to the UN's 17 Sustainable Development Goals. As you guys have seen, this is a very, very long body of work and many, many accomplishments from a person with a very interesting background. So I'm super excited to see what Professor Lowe comes to tell us in terms of neuroscience. Professor Lowe, if you'll come, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for the introduction and welcome. So today I'm going to talk about the human affectome, which is a project that involved nearly 200 scientists at the beginning. It's a neuroscience project, but it didn't maybe start out that way. For me, it was a problem that needed to be solved, and I want to tell you a little bit about how I got to the problem. And I want to talk about the paper, which was a recent publication with 170 plus authors. And then I want to talk maybe what we accomplished or what we think we accomplished and where I think things need to go from a research perspective. So we're going to cover some ground in a short amount of time. I'm going to start by telling you that I was doing a PhD in management somewhere around the year 2000. And a professor that I had was asking me, this was after having my background in aerospace engineering and then working in international business. I did an MBA and I was doing a PhD in management, and my professor was a critical theorist, a feminist critical theorist. And he wanted to write papers about how the management literature was misogynist and biased and ill-structured and et cetera. That his perspective was that the management literature was problematic, how we treat and manage employees, if you will, in the field of management. And he said, if you look closely at the research about what we know about human behavior, where's the thinking, feeling, emotional person at the foundation? Because all the theories we have are based on Freud and Skinner, and we don't have a good understanding of the person. And he wanted me to write a dissertation on how the management literature for the field was ill-structured and inappropriate and et cetera, along the lines of that any critical theorist would take. And he started me in the philosophy. Go read Foucault and Habermas and Sartre, and of course that was a very strange starting point for me. And I had read a ton of historical management literature. Taylor, Weber. If you're not in the field of management, these names won't mean anything to you. But it was essentially me exploring the field and trying to understand what these philosophers had said. And then the more I got into it, I came to the conclusion that it was a neuroscience problem, that if you really wanted to understand the individual underneath all of these theories, you needed to understand human behavior, and if you want to know about emotions and feelings, you have to understand what the people in the field of neuroscience and psychology and psychobiology are doing in the field of affective neuroscience specifically as a subset. And I came back to him and said, this is what this dissertation needs to be about. And of course he was very disappointed because he would be an inappropriate supervisor for that kind of a dissertation. And